Hello and welcome to the world of texture. My name is Erica Jemison. I am an artist with Schwarzkopf Professional, and today I will be demonstrating and educating and showing you how to carefully color your coils. We're going to have a lot of fun today, a lot of informative information, and then we also have a hero product that is going to change your life behind the chair. So, before we get started, I want to show you, we have a pre-done model whose coils have been carefully colored. And so I want to show you a before and after, and then I want to show you our model. And one of our goals today is I'm going to actually walk through the process of how I obtain the result with my model. So here is a before of our model, and she started off a level 4. I'm going to have our model come up so you can see her beautiful results. Isn't she stunning? So stay tuned because we're going to bring her back. We're going to talk about her formulations and styling. Thank you, Kendall. So let's get into it. Oh my God, I'm so excited about this product. Super amazing. We have an addition to the family. I'm the youngest, so I'm never jealous when we have a new addition. I'm like, welcome. So our new addition is IGORA Zero, a permanent hair color with absolutely no ammonia. Carefully coloring coils is going to be a great blend of the two with 4C hair texture and an ammonia-free hair color line. I want to just point out something. If you'll notice here, and if you previously used a Sensity, this is very important for you to know because now the technology has been updated, and then also you can now use our IGORA Zero developer, which is phenomenal. So just to touch a little bit about the technology when you think about a permanent hair color line with no ammonia, the key ingredient in the phytolipid technology is the blend of oils, apricot oil and grapeseed oil infused with omega-9, which is essential fatty acids with optimized pigment. The two work together very, very well because they're going to hydrate the hair while the hair is being colored. So think about it. What's going to happen? You're going to have a beautiful penetration of color, also with health being considered while the hair is being colored. So let's talk about coils. For me and my career, I've realized that it's very important to understand the different textures of hair, especially for those that may have a fear for hair that's very textured. Basically, all hair is the same. The fabric is just different. And once I learned how to identify the fabric, what that hair needs, is when I really started to be successful with all textures of hair. So let's talk about the characteristics of hair. Really quickly, I just want to note that even though I'm the only one up here, I have a team, and Lisa actually is in the chat. So if you have any questions, you can actually put them in the chat and Lisa will give them to me. So we're all together here. So let's talk about the characteristics of hair, 4C hair. Normally the hair could be very dehydrated, or you could have porosity issues gearing from low to high, right? And these are important characteristics that you want to identify with because they can affect your hair color. Also, 4C hair has a tendency to be dry. It may matte or it may tangle. So controlling the texture is very important. So one of the key products that I want to start off with is our Professional Fiber Clinics Tri-Bond Shampoo and Conditioner. The mask, the conditioning mask actually comes in 2 formulas, and we used the coarse formula on our model today because she had coarse and she has a lot of hair. Now, the way I would like to look at these ingredients is this is your business. So let's say you have a client that comes in and you identify that they might have porosity issues. It's all about science, right? So with our Tri-Bond technology, it actually replaced the 21 lost lipids in the hair, and it makes sure that the hair is healthy inside and out. So whether if the porosity is high or low, it's going to take care of all of your needs, strength and hydration. What I have found is sometimes you might need to kind of review the hair and think like, do I need to prep the hair for color? Because we all know if you have porosity issues, that will affect your color. Now, let's just say when you realize, okay, well, I'm okay, I feel the hair is fine. I also have another hero product, which is our hair primer. The hair primer, you'll actually mist on the hair and give it a good comb through. The hair primer is going to actually equalize the porosity in the hair, and it's great for before you're coloring the hair. So think about it like this. If you were gonna paint a wall, you would always prime that wall first. So that's why you would go in with your primer. Now, my next favorite product, and if you've ever been in an education situation with me, you'll know what product that I'm going to pick up because it's a must-have. It lives in my salon. It has to be there whenever I'm doing a chemical service, and that's our hair sealer. Your hair sealer is what you would use after each chemical service. What's going to happen with the hair sealer is it's going to remove the residue of color, and it's going to start to reduce that pH of hair and start to like soften the hair and bring the hair back to its natural state. So when you think about coloring and carefully coloring coils, these are like your essentials to start and throughout your coloring service. So now we're going to actually get started on how we got our look for our model. So if you notice here with this mannequin, we have 3 different sections. And basically, the way you would want to look at the sectioning, we have the top, we have the middle, and we have the exterior. The sectioning, it's always determined by the head of hair that you're working on, right? And your overall desired results. So these are the things you want to take in consideration when you're sectioning the hair. So with IGORA ZERO, you get up to 3 levels of lift, right? And so for me, I knew with my model that I wanted to create some lights to come through those coils. And I wanted like, let's see, honey coming through like chestnut browns. And so what I did was I did a little pre-work, and I'm going to show you that right now. So before I even started to color, after her hair was, before I started to color and her hair was treated, I actually started with putting a little pre-work down with the foils. So let me see something here. Okay. So the pre-work that was done with the foils, you want to think about this. The foils could be very random and they're minimal. So I'll say there was not over 20 foils that I put into my mannequin's hair. And basically my model's hair. And basically you want to think about your foil placement like this. What do you want to highlight? What do you want to bring to life, right? So here, you can create your money piece with your highlights here, and you can randomly put them wherever you want to go. So I'm going to actually start in this first section here. Now, if you notice here, let me just make that a bit cleaner for you. If you notice here that it's a slight diagonal, right? Because you want to think about, you want to color hair the way that the hair falls naturally, right? So you don't want any lines. And that's why you would actually weave instead of doing a slice, because weaves are better in texture hair because of the amount of movement. And for me, I like to pick up my pick up my weave according to the texture of hair that I'm working on. So they're not going to be too heavy, they're not going to be too small. However, this depends on the head of hair that you're working on and what your results are, what your desired results. So for me, I know that I want to lighten the face and I want to bring some light to the face. So my first diagonal is almost going to be like creating my money piece. I am using Blonde Me Premium 9+ Lightener. And the lightener is wonderful and a technique, when using on 4C hair because of the bonding technology. So the hair is actually going to be bonded with the technology and cared for. I'm using 7 volume because I believe in working slow and keeping the integrity of the hair. If you'll notice here, the color of my lightener, and I just want to show you this because I used an additive inside of my lightener, a violet additive, which is going to refine while the hair is lightened. La-dee-da. Okay, so from here, I just want to make a quick point out to you. So when you think about placement of your lightener, of your weave, here I know that this is going to appear like a money piece. My next weave is actually going to be here. And I'm thinking about just framing and highlighting the face. And taking a diagonal. And it's up to you how close you want to get to the hairline and if you want to create a slight weave.
Erica,
Yes.
we have a question.
Yes.
How much of the additive did you use with the lightener?
You can use up to 10 grams with your formula, And just to add, with the additives, we have 3 different additives. We have an ash, we have a matte, and a violet. And I have not picked up lightener without an additive ever since I have been introduced to them. They will totally change your life. Amazing if you have not used. So basically from here, you would continue working and you want to just think about the placement of where you're going to want to see your light. So I would say the next light would be right behind the ear. So if you think about it visually, you're basically just illuminating back behind the ear with your lightness. Something I do want to note is that we're working at a diagonal here. Finish that entire section thinking about where you want your lights to be. Then you're going to work in the next section and you're working at a diagonal around the head. Something I want to note is when you get to the top of the head, your sectioning will change a bit. Because of the way that the hair naturally falls here, you're going to actually shift from a diagonal section and more of a horizontal section. Right? And so with my model, when I pre-lightened her hair, I actually used a permanent color to tone. So instead of 3 shades running through her beautiful coils, I actually have 6. And we'll talk about that more when our model comes back. But you'll notice here of the shift going into a horizontal, right? And at the top of the head, we have 3 different sections. The top is going to be your darkest, going into your middle, going into your light. So you want to think about that, and it's all up to you. However, this is where I put minimum foils. So let's do an example. The outer perimeter probably had 8 foils for my model. The middle probably had 5. At the top, I probably went in with about 3 foils, right? So I'm just going to do 1 horizontal foil just so you could see visually the difference of the horizontal versus the vertical diagonal. Now, something you want to note, you do want to pay attention to any cowlicks in this area because this is an area you might have to tease. However, because of the texture with 4C hair, unless you're dealing with like cowlicks or the hair being thinner in that area, normally for me, I don't have to tease. But you want to just kind of evaluate the head of hair that you're working on. And so I did a quick tease just for demonstration purposes. Blonde Meat Premium 9 Plus Lightener is a lightener of choice for me because it's really gentle on the hair, yet it delivers the results that I want. And I'm not worried about the integrity of the hair. So here you have it. Diagonals working around the head, and then when you get to the top area, you're actually going to shift into a horizontal weave parting. And once again, just to note that you do not want to work in slices when you're dealing with textured hair.
Erica,
Yes.
we have some great questions coming in.
Okay.
Very interested in the additive for the lightener, so they kind of want to know what that's called. And again, which one did you use? I believe you had said violet.
Yes.
And a question came in, and I just said a big yes. Is this more of a natural, low-maintenance color technique?
Absolutely. So let's see what question I want to start first. Love the questions. Thank you. Okay, so absolutely, the technique is very natural. Like, and I would even inform you to, like, sometimes when I am coloring and pulling lights out with textured hair, sometimes I'll just visually pull pieces. So it's very natural from the placement and then also from the shade selection, because I wanted a natural, warm chestnut brown with honey coming through them. When we talk about the additives with the Blonde Me Lightener, you have 3 different additives, and I like to say it like this, because you have your violet, your ash, and your matte. So your violet is going to refine yellow. Your ash is going to refine orange, and your matte is going to refine red, right? And you are gonna be a believer, trust me, once you use them. So you think about where you're going in the pigment that you're gonna have to deal with at that level, right? So you think about if you're going with a level 8, 9, then you're gonna want to pick up your violet. And that's why I select the violet for my model. If you're going for a level 7 where you're gonna see the orange, then you want to go for the ash. If you're going for a level 6 to 5, then that's where you're gonna find your red, and that's when you would go in and use your matte. Does that satisfy the questions, Lisa?
We have one more.
Okay.
Is why, I think the question from Alicia, if I'm saying it right, is why tone with permanent color?
Well, I love this. So why did I tone with permanent color? Well, I selected the technique for my model because I'm using ammonia-free color, and I know it's only gonna, it gives you up to 3 levels of lift, and I wanted to create some lights within those shades. So I toned with permanent color at that time for longevity, and then also I toned with permanent color is because of the shade selection. So I talked about having 3 different color formulas for my model, but I really got 6 different shades because of the lightness that I created within each section. Another reason that I tone with permanent color, and let's say this is an example of when you're blonding the hair, right? When you're blonding the hair, let's say that you realize, okay, I don't need to really use any more lightener, but I still need a half to a 1 level of lift. That's another reason why I would pick up my permanent color to tone when I need to remove pigment from the hair or a layer of pigment. Okay, Lisa, are we fine? Or are we? Yes, okay. So now we're actually going to talk about the coloring technique. So we have 3 different sections, and like I said, when I was doing the lights, you're working from the top, the medium, to the outer perimeter, right? So when you look at the mannequin here, you have the top, the middle, but now it's more of a star shape, right? So I created a star at the top and then a star around the top, and then it left the outer perimeter. The first application for your color is going to be your last section because it's going to be cleaner. What I did, and you can actually use aluminum foil or you could use plastic of your choice to keep it clean. But after each section was colored, I laid foil or plastic around to keep the color separated because we work with 3 different color tones. So let's just give an example of a range of tones that you can use. Let's say the top is going to be the darkest. So let's say a level 6. moving to a level 7 in the middle, and then a level 8 to 9 on the outer exterior, right? So for my model, after she was highlighted and her hair was treated with the Tri-Bond treatment, now we went right back in over the highlights and we colored that first section here. Now, really quickly, I'm actually going to talk about the selection of shades that I used on our model. So that you could vividly get a good example. And let me know if this is legible to where you could zoom in and see. So let's say for our model, this is the outer perimeter is the lightest shade. So I talked about mixing some natural with some warmth so I can have a natural warmth. So for this outer section here, I actually went in with 8-46 plus 9-0. One of the things I want to point out with IGORA Zero is the numbering leveling system is the same as IGORA Royale, so you can feel very comfortable with that. And then also the tone selection is the same, right? So I'll give you an example of that. The level 8 is a beige chocolate with a natural level 9 with 30 volume all through this area here. Placed a foil around that area, and then I went into the second area, which is where you're going to find a level 7 chocolate copper with a level 7 natural. So it's going to give you a balance of your neutrals and your warms and keep it really, really soft and beautiful, but with some light. At the top section here, that's when I went in with a level 6 with a natural and then also a beige chocolate with 20 volume. I allowed the hair to process for 40 minutes. Now we're going to move into our beautiful reds. And you know, going through the journey with my model and all of the mannequins, to see the texture transform in my hands with hydration and just strength and the balancing that took place by using our products. And I have to say it all the time, it's all about science. And I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I'm going to jog back before I get into my color. What's something very important when you think about caring for coils is the molecular size of the product that you're using, and using a product where the molecular size is small enough to penetrate. So when we talk about low porosity, excellent when you use a great product because the molecular size is small enough to actually penetrate the cuticle of the hair. And so that's when you really, really see results, because you're not just using products that's going to lay on the outer surface of the cuticle layer of hair, you're actually getting that penetration. And my model said something that was so interesting. She goes, "Oh my God, my hair has never felt like this." And I'm like, you're using the greatest products ever, right? And so it just really, really going through the process of caring and coloring for hair, it made me a believer all over again, right? So what do you guys think about this beautiful red? I love how the hair feels. It's so soft. And I'm actually going to comb through and expand the hair because it's like these coils have been colored and hydrated and treated, and you still have all of this moisture. So let's talk about her technique. I used the same star technique that I used before. We just did something a little bit different here. So the foil work was actually done at the same time that we colored the hair. I want to introduce another product. It's part of our family too. It's one of my favorites. It's Fashion Lights, and this is a L-44. Fashion Lights is a lift and deposit. Oh, the range is from beautiful blonde to red violets to coppers. And when you actually lighten with the fashion lights, you're gonna be amazed at the pigment tone and the results. So if you haven't tried it, try it. You're gonna love it. And it cuts down a 2-step process to 1. So here, when I talked about that we actually did the lights while we were coloring the hair, and the same technique that we did before, we actually went through each of the 3 sections with the L-44 with 30 volume. Now note, something else I want to point out. With the new IGORA Zero ammonia-free color, you get up to 3 levels of lift. The mannequin that I'm working on here is a level 3 to 4. So I did pre-lighten the hair with Blonde Me 9+ Premium Lightener, and we got the hair to a level 6. We removed the pigment. The reason I suggested and wanted to go in and use IGORA Zero for toning is taking the texture of hair into consideration, and you think about that technology of with the beautiful oils and the optimized pigment, and I knew that it was gonna give me the results I wanted. And then also, I wanted the duration of the color to last longer. So that's why I selected IGORA Zero to do my deposit work. So once the hair was pre-lightened, we went right through each section and foiled the hair with a weave. Now, when we talk about 3 different sections, I just want to hold the hair up here so that you can actually see the copper and you can actually see the light running through the copper. So I'm just going to break this apart really quick. And my thoughts were, okay, we have these beautiful red copper shades, but let's create some tone, light, and dimension to run through those beautiful coils just to bring it to life. And that's just what type of colorist I am. So once again, instead of having 3 shades, we have a dimension of shades that just bring the coils to life, right? So I'm just gonna give this a good comb. And you could see here how there's a diffusion of shades. So you have this beautiful blonde shade running through your beautiful coppers, and it's just adding like a little seasoning salt, right? And just bringing your curls to life, right? So in this section here, which was our first section, which is our lightest section, we actually went in with a level 7 double copper. Beautiful, beautiful coppers, amazing shine. From that section, the next section, which is our middle section here, and in this section, you could see the lights coming through. And in this section here, we actually went in with the level 6-88. We used 10 volume on, no, I'm sorry, we used 20 volume with our 688. With our L-44, we did use 30 volume. And the richest and deepest tone that we have on the hair is going to be our 588. And what I'm going to do here is just kind of comb that out a little bit. And I'm going to actually pull her a little forward so you could see the deeper tone, which is your 5-88. That lays on the top. So my inspiration for having a deeper tone running into medium tone to lighter was pretty much like adding shade on the top and then bringing out the life and lightening the face and creating that light around the face. What do you guys think? Isn't she beautiful? Yes. So let's talk about styling, right? Oh my God. I have a product that you are absolutely going to love. For our model here, like when you think about 4C hair, you can actually do a couple of different things for styling. So we actually played with different techniques so that we could show you different styling options. So with our with our mannequin here, we actually work with Bantu knots. And these knots are, and I'll show you an example of a knot. We worked with different triangles, working with our new curl jam defining curl cream gel, and our Fiber Clinics oil, light oil. This is a secret tip, so a light oil combining with the curl jam while the hair was damp. I love the curl jam. It's so soft and hydrating, and it allows you to style the hair without your curls being stiff. Whenever you are styling 4C hair, you want to make sure that there is moisture in the hair. So what I would suggest is to go through different sections and then apply your product and make sure that the hair stays moist, and then go into your styling technique. So we actually mix the curl jam with the Fiber Clinics light oil together. I actually used a bowl to combine the products. However, you can layer the products. It depends on your end result and the hair that you're working on. For the Bantu knot, just kind of working through and distributing the product through. And what happens is you start to twist. And basically, when you're doing Bantu knots, the hair is going to be your guide, right? So it's very important, and like I said, you'll have moisture on the hair, to make sure that you actually coil the ends of the hair too, so they will not be straight. And from this twist, you're going to just twist the hair down and keep twisting. So you're twisting the hair, which is creating a coil. And however, you're actually just winding that hair by continuing to twirl the ends until the ends are done. And her hair was styled and dried all over in Bantu knots. And from these beautiful knots, we got this expanded look that you see here. Now, to remove your Bantu knots, you want to use a light oil. And I'll always talk about making the oil one with your hands. That's how you get the best distribution from your product. And so here, you're just going to unwind your knot. And the oil just kind of helps to keep the hair really, really soft. And then you'll let the hair kind of, for me, I like to just kind of smooth my oil into that section and let the curls kind of break away from themselves. And then with the oil on my hand, I'm actually now going to just finger coil out. And when I talk about the best distribution is your hands, it really is, because it helps to have a more natural fall of the product, and you won't apply too much product because it's in your hand. And if you feel the need to add more product, please do. But I learned a long time ago, if you connect with your product, it's easier to distribute. And basically, that's the way I apply all of my styling products.
Hey, Erica.
Yes.
We're getting like you slave that red, and they love this red, and all kinds of great questions. One that was interesting, is it safe to go from ammonia hair color to no ammonia hair color for a client? So that's one. And then they just want to hear more about your red formulas, what developer you use, things like that.
Oh, okay. So first, I'm going to do this. And so you could come in and I'll talk a little bit more about my formula. And then, I'm sorry, Lisa, what was the next question?
So one was just about the formulas, and the other was, is it safe to go from an ammonia hair color to a non-ammonia hair color?
It's definitely safe. It's definitely a safe transition. And what you want to think about, and what's great about the IGORA Zero is it's right in the IGORA Royale family. And so you could, like I said, the numbering system is the same. So you can just go according to that. However you want to think about the lift difference, and you want to make sure that your lift is going to be satisfied coming from a true ammonia color. But it's totally safe, absolutely. And the next question was on our formula. So we had 3 different sections, and basically the color technique was a star at the top of the head, an outer star surrounding that star in your outer perimeter. So your outer perimeter, which is going to be the lightest area, and that's going to highlight your face. That was a level 7 double copper. And that was with 30 volume. The internal, the middle shade, is a level 6 double red. So it's a level 6-88 with 20 volume. The top area, which is your deepest area, and it was the darkest of the triangle, of your stars, was a level 5-88 with 20 volume. And do you want me to leave this here just for a little while, Lisa, for if they want to capture?
Yeah, you can leave it there for a minute and we'll grab a screenshot. And while we're doing that, we also received a question about the Bantu knots. How long will they last?
Well, the care will be dictated by, the duration will be dictated by what happens at home. So if you educate your clients on how to do Bantu knots at home, then they will last a lot longer. And what I would say from a stylist educating my client is that the amount of knots that you did initially, they do not have to do. So let's say we probably had about an estimate of 20 knots here for show purposes. If you were educating a client, you could probably reduce it down to 8 to 10. And then also with 4C textured hair, you do want for your client to wear some type of hair covering at night. So like a bonnet or something of that nature, right? And a bonnet will still, if there's no knots of reinforcement done during the night and your client just uses a bonnet over their hair, you can get about a week out of it. Are we okay to move forward, Lisa? Okay. So now, I want to talk about our live model. So Kendall, can we have you come back? Hi, Kendall. So Kendall's hair and a real life story. And I just want to do something like this is just so beautiful, right? To see that movement. Kendall's hair was a true journey of 4C textured hair and the common challenges that you would have. Kendall's hair was very, very dehydrated and her hair needed treatment. And so actually, once her highlights were done, and before I did her highlights, I sprayed the hair primer. And then once the highlights were done, because that was the pre-lighting portion, I actually went in with our Tri-Bond technology and our coarse mask. Comb through and let the mask sit on for 5 to 10 minutes. You could literally see the transformation because we talked about the characteristics of 4C hair. You could see the transformation of the hair here to some hang, to where you could tell that those coils were being drenched. My inspiration for color was looking at Kendall's beautiful skin, and I wanted to highlight her skin almost like a bronzer. And that's where I think about like my honey highlights, right? And so we had the 3 formulas, and I'll bring her formulas back. But I used a blend of naturals and chocolates and beiges, right? To create that natural warmth. And I talked about having honey come through, maple and chestnuts. And so we actually have 6 different shades ranging through here. But I just want to point out, so in each section, the pre-lightening was done, right? With your Blonde Me 9 Plus lightener. So when I talk about 3 color selections for each section, let's say the outer perimeter was a level 8 and a level 9, divided in half. Those highlights were toned at that level. So that's going to give us 2 shades. The same happened throughout the middle section and then also through the top section. But you can see the way that the lights are random through Kendall's hair. I wanted my lights to fuse in with the shades to where it wasn't just obvious that she had highlights. I wanted them to be light, and I wanted to keep it modern and soft and all fusing in together. This, when we talk about the business, that's going to be where you go for your tri-bond technology and restructuring the hair. To style Kendall, we actually went in with our Hydrate from our Fiber Clinics line. This is designed to infuse moisture into her hair. This would be what Kendall will take home to use in her hair to keep reinforcing the moisture. So I would just say the business, the care, which is very important. To style Kendall, oh my God, it's a secret. It's coming soon. Just wait. Our Fiber Clinics, it actually goes from a cream to an oil. Fantastic product to use on coarser textures of hair. So after we sprayed our leave-in in, after her hair was conditioned, once the color was finished, we actually went in with our cream to oil throughout her entire hair. Making sure that hair is moist, we broke her hair up into sections and actually combined the cream to oil with the curl jam. For me, I like to work the product in first, and if I need to add water, I'll add it while I'm going through the sections. The styling technique that was inspired by Kendall was going off of the star. So basically what we did was flat twist. I'm gonna have you just lean your hair forward. Starting here and pivoting off of this point, we twisted out in a pivot. So it went from diagonals to verticals out from the pivot here, because we wanted to bring all of the volume throughout here. And we did flat twist and put a light small roller on the ends so that the end of her hair still had that beautiful coil reinforced. Once Kendall hair was dried, to untwist the hair, we actually untwist each section, but before we untwisted each section, we actually went in now with our light oil. Making one with your hands. And so to actually take the twist out, we had the moisture already on our hands. And so basically we untwisted the hair, and each section, each coil, we reinforced that curl with the light oil. And that's how we got our beautiful shine here. What I really, really love about Kendall's hair, and she was like, oh my God, my hair has never felt like this. I love the fact that this lets you know that this hair is hydrated. Because when you think about the characteristics of 4C hair, sometimes it could be dry or dull and lack movement. You'll know when that hair, you've met the needs of what that hair needs when you get the movement that you have here. That's the beauty of it. Her hair has been colored and it's still healthy and she still have the movement. And that's what's important to me, not just creating beautiful results, but the integrity and how the hair feels. And this is beautiful hair to me. When you think about 4C hair and coloring the hair for the texture, that's what it's about, to keep the movement and the health of that hair alive. So give your hair a good shake for us, Kendall. Oh, beautiful, love it.
Erica.
Yes.
We have a great question for you. So from Carmela is asking, does this color fade easily? And can you please address color care between retouches, especially for those who are active in their lifestyle, such as working out?
Okay, so the first question was the duration of the color. The duration of the color will always be dictated by the health of the hair. When the hair is healthy, your color will last longer. Also, a tip to color is, especially like if you're doing pre-lightening work, is make sure that the hair is not pre-lightened so much that a lot of the pigment is removed that's necessary to be at each level. A great example of that would be if you were desiring a level 7 and you pre-lighten the hair and you removed all the orange, then you went back to deposit a level 7, the duration is going to be, it's not going to be as long because all of that orange is out and what exists at a level 7. So you want to just think about that when you're pre-lightening hair. But healthy hair will always last longer with color. There was another question, Lisa?
About maintaining the color for somebody that has an active lifestyle.
Oh, sure. So this is great. Maintaining the color for someone to have the active lifestyle. One, you want to make sure your at-home care is there. So at home, your client can use a color-safe shampoo, also with a hydrating shampoo at home to protect their color. For someone that's active in their life, they need to come see you more frequently. So what's going to happen is to keep that color at the level and keep the endurance level, the endurance length of your color where you want it to be, then that's when you would actually use Vibrance, which is a demi-permanent color. And Vibrance is actually really, really good for a dual application. And so let's say that if your client comes in and she doesn't need a permanent hair color touch-up, but you want to restore her color and bring it to life, you can actually go on with Vibrance, and it's our demi-permanent line. What I love about Vibrance is it gives you the option to use a cream or a gel. And so this would be where you would go to restore, renew that color. Also, one thing that I want to note about Vibrance is it's amazing. Lisa, are we okay? Okay, I just love Kendall hair. Because it's just such a real life experience. Thank you, Kendall. So really quick, I want to just do a recap of what we talked about today. And because I know it was a lot of information in a short amount of time. However, the information about carefully coloring coils is so necessary to have, because once you understand the texture of the hair and you have a solution for each one of the challenges that come along with the characteristics of the hair, you're totally fine. There's no need to fear this fabric of hair. So let's just walk through a quick journey. I can't talk enough about the science and technology of your product and why it's important, because being able to restore the lost lipids in the hair, repair the structure internally and externally of the hair, that's everything you need for success with any hair type and texture, especially when you're dealing with a 4C texture of hair. IGORA ZERO, which is our new ammonia-free permanent hair color line that gives you up to 3 levels of lift. And I also would like to note that you can also use IGORA ZERO with 1.9% Vibrance lotion. And that's something that you would do if you were doing a refresh service. Blonde Me 9 Plus Lightener, amazing lightener. And when you're dealing with 4C texture and you want to create some lights, remember slow and low is the way to go. So for me, in the salon behind the chair, I use 7 volume most of the time to create lights. Your additives, you have 3 additives. You have your ash, your violet, and also your matte. And our fashion lights are a 2-in-1 lift and deposit hair color, a must-have. So a great alternative when you feel like you may not need to go to Blonde Me Lightener. It just depends on where you want to go. But what's important for me is that you have options. Love options. Yay! Vibrance is our demi-permanent line. You want to use Vibrance for deposit only because it's a demi-permanent line. You can tone with it. It's amazing. But most of all, it's very, very important to refresh and restore your color, renew your color, and then also for your dual application. You have to wait for it. You have to wait for it. The new Fiber Clinic oils are amazing and they smell fantastic and to combine them with your curl jam is just amazing. It actually, like, think of it like this with your curl jam. What I love about the curl jam is it has an amazing ingredient of glycerin, which is so amazing when moisturizing the hair, which is so necessary for styling products with 4C hair. Combining your curl jam with a light oil, just actually think about it like this. It actually gives you that additional movement throughout the hair, right? And then home care, it's very important. We had questions about longevity, endurance, and how do I keep my color safe? Color safe shampoos, hydrating shampoos, or just understanding the needs of the hair is very, very important for clients to have at home because it just continues the service that you've done in the salon. I want to thank you for staying with me today. I hope that I have given you some tools. And just to take away that fear was there, to let you know that we have a wonderful ammonia-free color line that's beautiful and it works really, really nice when you're coloring coils with care. And thank you, Cosmoprof, for having me for the second year in a row. Thank you so much for your time today. Happy Monday. You could find me at Miss Jemison _ on Instagram. And we have another question.
Yeah, Erica, we're getting a lot of questions about the IGORA Zero, and is this a Sensity? What happened to a Sensity?
IGORA Zero happened to Exensity. We have a new technology, and yes, this for stylists that use color intensity, here is your IGORA Zero with an updated technology, and that you can now use with IGORA Royale cream developers.
Maybe show us your formulas again, if you could, so we could get a screenshot of that too. I think
Absolutely.
people would like to see that.
This is our formulation for our red model. The top star was 5-88 with 20 volume, level 5, double red. The medium shade was 6-88 with 20 volume. The lightest shade was 7-77, which is a level 7 double copper. For our live model, the top star was 6-0 with half of 6-46, which is a beige chocolate. Our interior shade was a level 7-67, which is a chocolate copper with half of a 7 natural. The lightest shade, which was the outer perimeter, was 8-46, which is our beige chocolate, level 8, with a half of a natural, level 9.
We have another question. Lots of questions here. I think I got bumped off, so guys, if I missed your questions, I am so sorry, but let's do this one. Erica Jemison is asking, would you recommend going back and coloring with the 10-minute color or the regular IGORA?
Well, you have your options. So if you're, because we're a family, so if for timing issues, if you wanted to use your 10-minute IGORA 10-minute color, that's perfectly fine. If you wanted to go in IGORA Royale, and if you just think about why, maybe you want more levels of lift, that's totally fine too. You want to think about your IGORA Zero as an additional option, ammonia-free option, and think about the hair texture where you're placing the color. And these are all variables that you would consider when you are picking up a color of choice.
Okay, great. We're getting lots of questions about the difference between it and a Sensity. I know you kind of touched on it. Maybe explain again that we can now use the IGORA developers.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we want to know the differences?
Yeah, any new updates to the IGORA Zero? which, I mean, I can even address that if you want. We have improved oil content,
Yes.
better gray coverage, better, more vibrant color. And then now we can use the Agora developers with the new Agora Zero versus with Essensity, you had to use the Essensity developer. So you had to have extra inventory in your back room, and you don't need to now. So that's the answer to that one. Somebody is asking, how often for type 4 hair do you recommend washing the hair?
That's determined by lifestyle. What I would say, because of the characteristics with 4C hair, and especially with maybe the dryness, the porosity issues, I would suggest the hair be shampooed every 5 days. I know that sometimes clients like to cold wash their hair, and that's a great option too, but I would say 5 days.
Okay, and another question, I think I get it. Let me read it. So, how long does the color last? Like, how many shampoos, and what products do you use to maintain the color at home, like a dry shampoo, using a headband, using a blow dryer to dry the scalp after workouts, etc.?
So when you think about the duration of color, it's always going to be determined by the health of the hair. And then to keep that color new, your clients can come back, you can refresh them with Agora Vibrant. At home care, you want to just provide your clients with color safe shampoos and conditioners. When you think about using dry shampoos, it's really to remove the extra oil, the excess oil. So in terms of preserving your color, yes, it will preserve your color because you won't have to shampoo as often, but I would still suggest a 5-day shampoo.
Okay, great. And then the last question is, again, can you kind of revisit what you mean by the dual application with Agora Zero and Agora Vibrance?
Absolutely. So when you think about a dual application, once the pigment is removed from the hair, and the pigment is removed by a permanent color, or if you use lightener, then you don't have to remove the pigment the next time your client comes. So when you think about the area that you would approach with lifting, it's going to only be your new growth area. And that's where you're going to pick up your Agora Zero permanent color. For the pigment that's already removed, that you're only going to restore and refresh that pigment, and that can be done with Vibrance, our demi-permanent, which is a deposit-only line. So I want to thank you for today with spending time with me to learn and get more information on carefully coloring coils. You can find us at Schwarzkopf Professional on Instagram, and I hope that I've given you some tools that will be very, very helpful. Thank you. My name is Erica Jemison. Thank you for spending time with me.